Alright, this is John Cole with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. You caught me right in the middle, or pretty much at the end, of making my daily juice today. And today I want to share with you guys a topic that's actually very important to me and probably also very important to you guys as well. As you guys know, I make videos on this YouTube channel. I have a business called DiscountJuicers.com. I'm probably the #1 independent retailer of all the different high-end juicers anywhere that I'm aware of. I make more videos trying to educate people about the power and the benefits of the juicers, vacuum blenders, and other appliances that allow you to get more fresh fruits and vegetables in you. And in my opinion, I mean, that's really the benefit of the juicers. They're not like any kind of magical device or anything like that. What they do is they basically condense the volume of fruits and vegetables you could eat from, like 5 pounds of carrots into simply 5 cups of juice when you juice those, and now you're going to literally get the benefits out of the 5 pounds of carrots. That being said, many people always say, John, it's like so hard and difficult to like make juice each and every day, because I do recommend that if you want to drink juice, the best way to do it is to make it and then drink it right then and there, right after you make it, right? And that's always the best, but I know a lot of you guys don't have time to juice on a regular and everyday basis, so this is the video you guys will want to pay attention to. Now, before I go into any further, I do want to say if my videos have helped you select a juicer, preserve your juices better, or anything, I would encourage you guys to help me out. And you can do this by buying your juicer or other appliance, dehydrator, vacuum blender, even a fermented sauerkraut crock pot maker at my website, DiscountJuicers.com. If you do this, this allows me to continue to make these educational videos so that I can educate you guys about what I know about juicing. I've been juicing now since 1995, so that's been like the last 23 years. I started, luckily, when I was really young, and I have a lot of experience juicing, using basically all the different juices in the market, so pretty much I know it all, and I want to share my secrets and things with you free and clear so that you guys know the truth. I compare juicers side by side so you guys know the truth and can make the right decision for you. And that's very important to me, so that people just get the truth, because then I feel that if you have the truth, you're going to make the best decision for you, and you're going to be an informed consumer. Whereas if you go to some juice seller and you ask them, what's the best juicer? They say, oh, buy that one, it's the best. Well, that juicer's not always the best for every person. There's so many different kinds of juicers, and each person has their own specific goals, needs, and desires, right? So yeah, so I want to thank you guys that support me and that have made your purchase from me in the past, and I want to thank you guys in advance for those of you guys that will purchase from me in the future. And I do want to let you guys know that we do have a price match policy, so don't think, oh, I could save $5 or $10 somewhere else and I'll get it from them instead of John, even though I watched all his videos, right? Let me know. Email me. I'll put links down below so you could click a contact form. You could contact me, say, hey John, this is the best deal I found from an authorized dealer. And in most cases, I'm glad to match any price to gain your business, not only by the price, which is important to many of you guys, but also by the service that you won't get anywhere else. Other places don't make these videos that let you guys know the truth about the juicers, and especially tips on how to save your juices, which we'll be talking about in a minute. But more importantly, you don't get after service. You buy your juicer from a big box store, right? They don't care about you. You're just another number in their system. You can't call them and say, hey, I'm using this juicer. I'm having this problem. How can we fix it? I'm a juicing expert. I have more hours playing with juicers than anybody that I've ever met in my life. And I probably know the answer for your juicing challenge if you're having a challenge with your juicer, or how to get it repaired or corrected as quickly as possible. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys out in your juicing journey, right? So anyways, links are down below to buy this juicer that I'm using today, the Green Star Pro, as a link to my website so you can learn about all the different juices that we offer. Anyways, on with today's episode. The topic today we're talking about is, John, how do you store your juices the best way possible? Like, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago now, actually I made a video, I'll put a link down below, where I talked about how to store your juices. And at that time, I talked about certain things, but since that time, time evolves and people learn more and you evolve, hopefully, and every day you're making steps in a positive direction to become a better person, to eat a healthier diet, to lose some weight, or whatever your goals are in life. And as such, I'm a learning, breathing creature, and as days goes on, I learn new things. So, I always want you guys to be updated with the current information, so be sure to click that subscribe button down below, because as soon as I learn something new, I'll make a video about it, about the new appliance, about the new whatever, or my new information that I've learned, so that you guys can stay up to date and not operate off old knowledge, because that is critically important A lot of dogma out there. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue. So anyways, if you want to store the juice, there's about 6 different tips that I recommend for you guys, and I'll be demonstrating it live right here, right now. Probably one of the most important tips. But tip number 1 is the thing is this: if you want to store your juices, why are you juicing in the first place, right? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm juicing for the nutrition, right? It is proven by science that some of the different phytochemicals and phytonutrients in the different vegetables, because literally the plants are little chemical factories. You know, the sun hits them, they create nutrients, and they pull up nutrients from the soil, and they make plant chemicals, and these plant chemicals can have positive beneficial effects in our bodies. And so what you're really doing when you're storing your juice, you really want to maximize your nutrition, right? You want to have the least amount of oxidative damage, you want the most nutrition, and also not have the juice spoil. So I've come up with 6 tips to help you guys do that. But tip number 1, let's get back to it, is number 1, if you want to store your juice the longest time and get the most nutrition, number 1, start with the highest quality produce you guys can get. This is super important, super critical. You might not hear about this from most people, because if you just go to the store and buy carrots, you think carrots are carrots are carrots, but carrots are not carrots are not carrots. It depends on how they are grown, how they are raised, when they're picked, when they're harvested, how long they're in shipping, how long they're in cold storage, and how long before you get them. So, you know, the few points I will say on selecting the best, highest quality produce is, number 1, if you want to do the best, grow a garden yourself. I have a huge garden in my backyard, and I pick most of the produce I juice, especially the leafy greens, fresh. You know, I don't pick it, put it in the fridge, and then juice it. I go outside, pick it, come inside, I juice it, turn it into juice, then I drink the juice. That's the best, right? I add things to the soil that commercial, organic, and even conventional farmers are not adding, including up to 70 to 90 different trace minerals. If you want to learn how to grow your own food, visit my other YouTube channel, Growing Your Greens, where I teach you guys how to grow the highest quality food, right? If you don't want to grow a garden, can't grow a garden, you know, source the best quality food you guys can. Go to the farmer's market, ask the farmers questions. When did you harvest this? How are you adding nutrients to the soil? What kind of trace minerals are you adding in the soil? All these kind of things. And if you don't have a farmer's market to go to, in general, I find that organic produce, in most instances, but not always, is, you know, more nutritious and has higher levels of phytonutrients than conventional produce. This is not always in all cases, but in most cases it is. And the other thing with organic produce is you're going to find it's not going to have some of the toxic chemical sprays that may cause reproductive harm and wreak havoc in the body. That being said, you know, conventionally grown produce juiced is still way better than basically anything else, any other processed food in the grocery store that you guys could be eating. Okay? And I mean, just yesterday, actually, I was eating some organic strawberries that I got at the store. And I was eating them, I'm like, man, these don't taste like anything. They taste like garbage. So I got out my Brix meter, which is advanced topic, and I tested it, and it tested between poor and average. And this is like, if you buy produce at the store, it's like really poor quality. So not to say that all produce in the store is poor quality, but I want you guys to be aware of this challenge, and if you want to do the best, grow your own, all right? On with the show. Number 2, if you want to store your juice the longest amount of time, there's 2 things that happen to your juices, in my opinion, when you store it, okay? And that could cause it to go bad. Number 1, there's a decrease in nutrients. Number 2, there can be an increase in bad bacteria. We want to prevent both these things at all costs, and there may be other things going on with the juices, but these are the things that are probably most on the radar and important to me. And so the next bit of advice I'll give you guys is having to do with the bacteria, right? You want to make sure when you juice your produce, you want to try to clean out your produce, you know, wash your produce to get all the potentially bad bugs off it, any kind of things, you know. I mean, even to the extent of, if you have carrots, right, if you really want to store your carrot juice for the longest amount of time, and that's your main goal, not necessarily nutrition, you actually want to take a carrot peeler and peel off your carrots, because, you know, bacteria can reside in the skin, and the bacteria in the juices may cause them to go rancid or go bad faster. That being said, it's more important to me not to have the longest storage time. It's more important to me to have the highest level of nutrients, and it's been shown that, you know, most of the nutrients in the carrot are actually on or near the skin. So, you know, I let you guys know everything, and you guys could make your own decisions whether you want to do some of these or not. The other thing, besides washing it and being a germaphobe, man, there's all these bad bacteria on everything. I got to scrub everything, soak it in vinegar, soak it in salt water. You know, there's also good bacteria on the foods too, you know, and we've become in a so sanitized environment that we may not be getting some of the good beneficial bacteria on our food because we're so paranoid about germs. You know, so I mean, it's a balance. You don't want to be, you know, you don't want to just throw in dirty stuff in your juicer and have bad bacteria, but you don't want to lose all that good bacteria either. So that's why I like to support, you know, local farms that aren't spraying their produce, that are picking it fresh, that have clean environment. Or in my garden, generally, you know, if it wasn't for the potentially toxins in the air and heavy metals in the air, if I lived out in nature with no airplanes flying overhead, I probably wouldn't even wash my produce, actually, in my opinion. Anyways, let's keep moving on. Tip number 3, this is really important, is if you want to store your produce, use a slow juicer. And a matter of fact, use the best slow juicer that you guys can get your hands on. The only company that I know of that has done testing on the stability testing of the juices to prove that their juicer remains stable for 3 days is the Tribest company. And this is the very machine and the twin gear technology they've tested this on with laboratory studies and testing. And so this is the only machine this is the best machine if you guys want to store the juices for the longest amount of time. They've proven that even after 3 days it retains most of the nutrients. That's due to the way this machine works. Number 1, it's a slow RPM. Number 2, it literally grinds up and extracts the nutrients and has actually a really dry pulp. But more importantly, it also has ceramic and far infrared and magnetic gears inside the machine. So the reason behind, in my opinion, the Green Star Pro and also the Green Star Elite can preserve the juice the longest and is shown so in test is because of the special magnetic and far infrared and bioceramic materials inside the gear. So here's a gear. This is a cutaway shot. This is basically the Green Star Elite gear, and on the Green Star Pro it's all stainless steel instead of half stainless and half plastic. That's why, one of the reasons why I prefer the Green Star Pro. There's about 10 other reasons. I'll put a link down below to a video I did, Green Star Elite versus Green Star Pro, and what's different about this and why you should probably get the Pro model, because it is actually commercially certified, but there's many other reasons as well. But anyways, there's the far infrared and magnetic inside the gears that's set to basically pull out more nutrients and also stabilize these nutrients in the juice. You know, I have talked to people that have done research on this topic and they assure me that it's true. I don't know about this stuff, but all I know is that they've been testing on this and that other juicers don't have the far infrared and magnetic technology, and that's why I believe, based on the documentation, this machine would be the best. If you buy any other slow juicer, right, they may be having the slow juice features, right? They may not grind the produce up as well and extract more nutrients out of the produce, and they don't have the far infrared or magnetic technology that's going to preserve your juice longer. So many juice companies advertise, yeah, store our juices up to 3 days because it's made in a slow juicer, but basically they're just copycatting what Tribest said because their machine's a slow juicer, but they fail to realize there's some other things at play. That being said, any slow juicer is going to be way better than a fast juicer, such as a Breville, a Juice Fountain, high-speed juicer. I do not recommend storing those juices at all. I mean, it'd be better to just drink those right then and there. I mean, those juicers are so fast to juice anyways. You can just make a juice and drink it right then and there, and then just use that juicer again to make it, because there's so much damage being done to the juice when you are making it. And that's the other thing. You know, one of the reasons why juices could stay longer is because of the antioxidants in the juice. Once you break open the fibrous cell walls of the carrot, basically the juice is released, the cell walls are broken open, the nutrients are now being exposed to air. The more phytonutrients you start with to begin with, if you have a high level, then even if some of those nutrients break down, right, and they are, because the antioxidants are basically anti-oxidation, they're going to help keep your juices fresher longer. So the higher amounts of antioxidants, the longer theoretically your juices can stay fresher. The lower the amount of antioxidants, the faster it's going to oxidize and go bad, because there's not all the antioxidants to, you know, quelch the free radical damage that could be going on from the oxidation or whatever. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. The next way that I would recommend, and this is something all you guys could do, is when juicing, is add a lemon. You know, today I added a lemon, organic lemon, to my juice, skin and all. You can juice lemon skins, lime skins, but do not juice the coloring of grapefruits, oranges, or tangerines. There's some indigestible chemicals in there. But this will add the citric acid in your juice. This is another antioxidant. I mean, they add citric acid probably from corn to many different processed foods as a preservative. I like to get my citric acid directly from the lemons, and there's lots of nutrients actually in the lemon skin and peel, all right? So after that, the next tip is to vacuum seal your juice. I used to like say, oh yeah, just fill your juice to the brim and have it almost overflowing, then cap it off so there's no oxygen left in the container. But you know, that was good then, but this is now, and now basically when I store juices 99% of the time, I vacuum seal my juice. And this used to be pretty expensive. Well, actually in the old video I recommend using like wine bottles with like a wine saver, because that was an easy thing you guys could do for cheap. But I know I found a better way and I wanted to share that with you guys. I like to use these mason jars. They hold a lot of juice. They're easy to clean, and it's really easy to vacuum seal. You know, without any expensive equipment. You know, formerly you'd have to get something like the Food Saver vacuum lid, you know, plus like a Food Saver machine to use the vacuum lid. But I found a shortcut that I'll share with you guys. So for less than like 15 bucks, and I'll put links down below to Amazon where you can actually buy these items. And actually the links actually are affiliate links for a non-profit animal shelter. So if you buy those products, I don't get any money from that, but a non-profit animal shelter that rescues dogs and cats and things will make a little bit of the money. So I'll give you guys that disclosure, because I want to, you know, help places that do good work. But anyways, how this works is basically you're going to get a mason jar, and I like these 32-ounce mason jars. I also like the 24-ounce mason jars. The 64-ounce ones you could also do. They get kind of big, but I like the 32-ounce wide mouth the best, so you could actually clean out these guys. The cheapest place to get these guys are at like a big box store, like a Walmart. Generally, I find they're usually cheapest, and you know, they're reusable, and they come basically with the lids. And you want to make sure that the packaging says non-BPA lids, because the old mason jars have BPA in the lids as a coating. The new ones do not, so this is good. And they also come with the jar rings. And normally you would just put the juice in the jar, seal it up, put it in the fridge, and then call it a day. But now what I want you guys to do is actually vacuum seal your juices. So with this machine, you could store it for up to 3 days without any problem without vacuum sealing it. But I will say that I only store my juices now vacuum sealed 99% of the time. The 1% is like when I'm not traveling or when I have a small quantity that I'm not going to vacuum seal. But here's the thing. When you vacuum seal it, I would have no problem storing a juice in the Green Star Pro Juicer up to 5 days. And I have had juices in my fridge that maybe I forgot about, you know, or a friend of mine that I made for didn't drink, and it's been 7 days, a week. Not that I recommend doing this, you know, because you want to drink the juice right after you make it for the highest health benefit. If you're trying to recover from a disease or something, you know, you want to get the most benefits, the most enzymes, the most nutrients in there, and not even put it in a jar vacuum sealed like I'm going to show you guys, but to drink it fresh, if that's really important to you. That being said, I will also say this, you know, I'd rather drink a 7-day-old juice than, you know, a juice from like a bottle that has been heat pasteurized, or even, you know, high pressure pasteurized in the store that's considered quote unquote raw. You know, I'd rather drink a 7-day-old juice than a soda, or I'd rather drink a 7-day-old juice than a raw food kombucha or living foods kombucha, right? So I always want you guys to think in terms in good, better, best. Do the best you guys can, and hey, a 7-day-old juice is still one of the best things you could juice on the planet, but hey, better than a 7-day-old juice, vacuum sealed, made with the Green Star Pro Juicer, is one you make right then and there with the Green Star Pro Juicer, and then drink it right away. And and then here's the thing. I would rather drink a 7-day-old juice made with a Green Star Pro Juicer, vacuum sealed in the way I'm going to show you, than a high-speed centrifugal ejection juice that I just made then and there. So that will tell you a lot, right? All right, so anyways, let me show you guys how to vacuum seal without further ado, right? We got the fresh-made juice here, and today, actually, I juiced carrots, ginger, pineapple, and lemon, and beet, right? Very important to get your colors in the juices. And the Green Star Pro Juicer, if you try to juice straight pineapple, is really not going to work, as is many other slow juicers on the market. That being said, I like the Green Star Pro because even the hard fibrous stalk, or the center of it, the core that may jam many single auger juicers, has, you know, the Green Star Pro tears it up without any issues, right? And so the trick to juicing pineapple in the Green Star Pro or other horizontal auger juicers is basically put in pieces of pineapple and then follow it with a whole carrot. The thing is, these machines are so efficient that they don't really deal well with soft pulp, and they get backed up. So if you always add either some celery would work, or some carrot, or something like jicama that it's peeled, will be a great pusher to push the soft produce through. This goes with other fruits as well. Anyways, we made the juice here. What we're going to do now is we're going to pour it into my mason jar here, very carefully. Look at that nice consistency, that really rich color. And what we're doing here is we got the nice betalains, and that's the red color from the beets. These are very healthy. We also got the beta carotenes from the carrots. And basically we're gonna pour it up to the shoulders of the jar. See, we're not going up all the way, we're going to the shoulders. That's where the jar starts to kind of go in and then kind of goes up. Alright, so to vacuum seal, basically once you got your juice in there, you're going to take your lid here and make sure it's a nice lid with a good ring on there. We're going to put that right on the center. We're going to take our Food Saver jar sealer, put it on top, right? And they expect you to buy their machine to basically plug into here, but you don't really need their machine. You could use a vacuum pump with actually a nice seal. So this one is maybe harder rubber than I would like, but it works. It'd be better to have one with like a nice silicone seal there. But basically you put this on top and you're going to want to press down really hard. Don't just like, oh John, I put it on top and then I just pulled it up. It didn't work. That's because it's not making a good seal. So we've got to literally push down on this really hard while you pump it up, right? And you hear that? You hear that? You hear that? That's the lid flexing, and that's basically you're pulling the air out. So we'll just do this about 10 times. Alright, that worked. Now we're just going to pull the jar sealer off, and look at this. When we pull this off, this is totally sealed down. It's really, the air in this airspace has been literally sucked out. You may also see some air bubbles sometimes come up from the bottom of your juice. And this is totally sealed. Even if I tip this upside down, it's fully sealed because it's the vacuum that is, the pressure is sucking it because we pulled all the extra air out. Generally, I like to store the juices in my fridge just like this, but if you want to be sure this maintains a seal, because sometimes I found the gaskets are bad, just go ahead and put the lid on there, right? And screw that lid on really nice and tight, and now this is juice that's been vacuum sealed. All the extra oxygen and air has been pulled out of there. It's under vacuum. And because now it's under vacuum, two things happen. Number one, some of the bad bacteria or molds that could grow in an oxygen state cannot grow because now there's no oxygen in there. So that means your juice will not ferment. You know, some juices like sugarcane juice is very volatile. It can ferment very fast. And I've basically preserved sugarcane juice for easily a week when juiced with lemon using this method. The other thing that's going to happen, the bacteria can't grow, the bad bacteria can't grow, but also because you're removing the oxygen, the antioxidants in the juice will basically not, you won't lose them as quickly because you've sucked out all the oxygen. That being said, you know, once again, drink your juice fresh. That's always the best. This is a viable method to store your juices up to 5 days, in my opinion. No problem with the Green Star Pro Juicer. I hope to get some documentation and science and data done on this preservation method, because when I pull out a juice that I've done like this versus a juice that I didn't, like if I do a test side by side, this juice tastes a lot better. And to me, our taste buds, one of the things we taste are the nutrients in the juice. Now there's one final tip that I want to give you guys before I go today. Besides vacuum sealing it properly, you want to store the juices properly. Although it's vacuum sealed, you took the extra air out, right? There's still reactions going on in this juice. You've separated all the fiber that basically protects the nutrients in there. And literally what Jay Kordich, formerly known as the Juice Man, taught me, it's the juice of the fiber that feeds you, right? And I want your juice to feed you. And the way to store it once you vacuum seal it, the best way is to put it into your fridge. Not just any fridge, right? I would encourage you guys to have a special fridge. Actually, I have a special fridge in my kitchen that I keep at about 34 degrees. I like it 34, you know. 33, 34, 34 gets kind of a little bit too cold, but 33 gets too cold, but 34 is right about perfect. And we want your fridge to be at the lowest temperature before you get to freezing, right? At lower temperatures, right, reactions happen less quickly. So that means your juice will stay fresher longer. Like if you keep your fridge at 40, right, at 40 degrees, this is going to basically age faster than at a 34 like I like to keep my fridge. So this might mean you get a little small mini fridge, you know, like a dorm style, like you're in college, to store your juices at the right temperature, or change your current fridge to be at a lower temperature. That being said, if your fridge is at a lower temperature, a few things are going to happen. Number one, it's going to cost you more electricity. Number two, some foods may not like to be stored at that cold of a temperature. You know, tropical fruits, if you put tropical fruits in a fridge at that cold, it's going to damage the fruits and whatnot. So I have actually different fridges with different temperatures in my kitchen depending on what I'm storing. But that's beyond the scope of this episode. But anyways, yeah, this one's going to go in the fridge. I have these nice little thermostats that I have in my fridge so I can monitor the temperature. Once again, a link is down below to Amazon so you guys can get one of those thermostats. And basically now you guys know how you guys can store your juices easily up to 5 days, no problem. You know, so you can make large batches. Oh, and a few other things I wanted to comment on. If you don't want to get the wide mouth mason jar, which I prefer, they also have a narrow mouth mason jar attachment as an option. This one will also work. This one probably is going to work better because it makes a little bit better seal over the top. I'll also put a link down below to the kit where you could actually get the smaller and the wide mouth mason jar size or the individual sizes. So check the links down below for that. The final thing I want to say is everybody always asks me, John, what about freezing your juice? Can I take the juice and can I freeze it so I save it longer, right? Well, I want to say once again, it's always best to drink your juices fresh made. Next best is you vacuum seal it, drink within 5 days. But if you got to store it longer, which I don't recommend, what I would do is I would take the juice, pour it into a silicone ice cube tray, pour it in there, and then freeze it, right? In the freezing process, you lose some of the nutrients. You could potentially negatively affect some of the enzymes. Once you freeze it in the silicone tray, don't just leave it open air in the freezer. Once they're frozen, then take out the ice cubes and then put them into a mason jar like this, and then basically put the jar lid on it and then suck out the oxygen like this and then put it in the freezer. Basically you have ice cubes in here, vacuum sealed in the freezer so that no further oxidation will occur once you froze the juice, right? So that might be too much information for you guys, but that's the best way to do it that I've come up with if you guys want to do that. That being said, freshness is always best. Is make your juices fresh. Hopefully this video has helped you guys out a little bit. If you want to help support me, please make your juicer purchase at discountjuicer.com. Refer a friend. Tell somebody to watch my videos. Tell them to get their juicer at Discount Juicer so I can continue to do this work and share this valuable information with you guys. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Also be sure to share this with other juicers, other people you know that make juices so that they could store their juices and then higher quality juice with more nutrition so they could get even further and better health benefits. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of my new and upcoming episodes. You never know where I'm going to give you juicing tips, compare a different juicer, share with you guys the latest juicer coming out, or comparing the latest vacuum blenders to one another. And also be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 500 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to teach you guys about all the different aspects of juicers, blenders, vacuum blenders, and dehydrators so you guys can improve your health through the power of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.